Hi everyone, it's Ren here. Hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to try to take a slightly more relaxed, maybe lighter route than I took in more recent stuff about NI and stuff like that. So I took a suggestion from the comments for topics, and I gotta say I've been a little biased. I chose the suggestion that my girlfriend, my beloved girlfriend, made, not only because she's my girlfriend, but I thought that it was an interesting topic which reminded me of one of my great passions, which is cinema. A passion which I tend to leave a little bit by the wayside these days, to my regret. It's just there's only 24 hours in a day. I tend to require 7 to 8 hours to sleep, and in the 16 hours that remain, I do mostly keep busy, like between the work and the writing and the reading and all these different things, philosophy, literature. Like, I just have to make choices, priorities, are ranked in a certain order, and film just is not at the top at the moment. It was at the top for a great chunk of my 20s. It just hasn't been in a couple of years. I'm sure it will change around. In any case, the topic of the video today is just literally actors and actresses that I particularly like. And I'll try to give the reason why quickly, as well as my prediction for their type. Yeah, and maybe a couple of films that strike me. And why I like them in relation to that film. So I don't think that list is exhaustive by any means. Actually, I think that I scribbled it a little bit earlier. I tried to remember, and so I came up with 14. I believe it's 16 names. So I didn't divide them up between like female and male. I divided them between US and non-US, and so I tried to come up with like 8 US names and 8 non-US names. So hopefully it'd be awesome if like some of you guys could like discover stuff that discover names, discover actors or actresses that you have not encountered before. I apologize in advance for the fact that there are actually way more men than women in this list. I actually do think that at the moment it changes in the course of time. It's not always like that, but like at certain stages I like more actresses than actors. At other stages I like more actors than actresses. At the moment I just happen to like more actors in terms of sheer numbers than actresses, and that's just how it is. Okay. Anyway, so I guess I'll do one of each for the fun. So I start by US, and then I'll move to non-US, and then I'll go back to US, and until the end of the list. Okay. So the first nominee in my 16 actors and actresses that hold a place that's very dear in my heart is Joaquin Phoenix. So Joaquin Phoenix, I believe he's typed as an ENFP. I saw a few of his interviews. Actually, I found him kind of erratic in interviews, and I don't know if he's the friendliest guy of all time. Maybe he is. In any case, I think he's an unbelievable actor, and literally, he's one of the few actors that, like, if I see that there's a movie out where Joaquin Phoenix is involved, I'm gonna most likely watch the film. So I think that his performance in Gladiator at 25 years old is fantastic. I really, really love him in basically all the films that he's done. We Own the Night is a really great film in that too. I love his performance in Her, of course, the movie Her by Spike Jonze, which I think for its theme is much more profound than Black Mirror, the series, by the way. And I gotta say that I think that he is absolutely fantastic in the movie The Master by Paul Thomas Anderson. It's a very tough role to play, and he plays it marvelously. I think that he would have absolutely deserved the Oscar that year for his performance in The Master. Now the Oscar went to another actor who's also in my list, so I'm not too mad. But yeah, Joaquin Phoenix, profound, very profound, dark, emotional, charismatic, just a presence. You know, I need some Joaquin Phoenix in my life. Now, another actor, so now, pinching from the non-US list is an actor called Daniel Auteuil. He's a French actor. I'll have the list, I have the names in the list in the description box. I think that if you want to really see French acting at its like finest level, you'll see that with Daniel Auteuil. And the movie that I recommend maybe that you check out, also because it's an amazing film, is called Caché or Hidden by Michael Haneke. So it's a classic movie. It's one of my favorite movies, probably my top 20. And Daniel Auteuil is the main actor in that. And I'll only say that, you know, he is capable of conveying a very, very, very rich complexity of emotion and motivation in his acting. And so I recommend him. I have no idea what his type is. I'm assuming he's like an EFP of some sort, but I don't know if he would be more ESFP or ENFP. Good question. I didn't check. Now, I'll try to make my descriptions a little shorter because I feel like otherwise this video is going to last forever. So, now US number 2, Jessica Chastain. I love Jessica Chastain. I think she's a fantastic actress. I think she has a lot of grace. I absolutely loved her in The Tree of Life and also in Zero Dark 30. I think those were exceptional performances on her part. I don't know if she has yet gotten an Oscar for her career, but she certainly deserves one. So Jessica Chastain. I checked online. Apparently it's either ESFJ or ISFJ for Mrs. Chastain. I don't know if she's married or not. Now, in the non-US list, I have the actress Vanessa Redgrave, quite an old lady at this point. I don't have a particular film in general, but if you check her out, any film that she's in, or any play, because she also does a lot of theater, if you get the chance to see Vanessa Redgrave perform, just check her out. She's an unbelievable actress. English actress, I think. British for sure, and I think English. Funny enough, the last time that I saw her in a film was a while ago, and it was in a film by Ralph Fiennes, who also had Jessica Chastain in it and someone else. So I think it was Jared Butler. Yeah. So yeah, and the film was Coriolanus. Coriolanus, freely based on a Shakespeare's play. I think underrated movie. I think it was a great movie, very original, very challenging. And Vanessa Redgrave, she's not the main role, but she's all you see in the film, despite the fact there's also Jessica Chastain and Ralph Fiennes. You know, I think Jared Butler is not quite up there, although I do like him. Okay, so on the US side, number 3 on the US side, Leonardo DiCaprio, ESFP, I think, which is funny to think, but because a lot of his roles are not ESFP roles, but that's what I saw online. I'll tell you the truth. For a long time, I liked him from a distance, but I was never like massively into DiCaprio because for some reason I just thought that he maybe lacked a bit of charisma and stuff like that compared to maybe some other actors who are in this list. Sheer charisma, in addition to acting skill, if you like. But honestly, at this point, like after his 25-year-long career, I mean, I think that there's no denying that he is like one of the finest actors of his generation, one of the best actors in the world. He can play literally anything. He's never disappointing. He's always on top. So he's not an actor to whose personality I'm addicted, but I'm addicted to just his versatility and the passion he puts in his work and his consistency. He's amazingly consistent. And so I think that in terms of pure acting talent, DiCaprio, whom I used to like when I was a child, I used to hate him because I saw him for the first time in Titanic and all the girls were in love with him. So obviously I was a little boy and I was like, I was 9 years old and I was jealous, you know, and they were not in love with me, they were in love with him, so I was jealous. But I think that I made my peace with that. So yeah, DiCaprio, fantastic actor. Number 3 in my non-US list is Gary Oldman. So most of you know Gary Oldman is a British actor. Again, it's hard to quite mention like in what film, which film he is striking, because he's always really, really good. But I would say that two performances in which he particularly impressed me. I think one, because I was a bit young, is the movie Leon by Luc Besson. I think in English it's also translated as The Professional, and for some reason it has a very good reputation in the English-speaking world. So that was a while ago. And Natalie Portman is in that movie, and she's 14. But even more than The Professional, I think Gary Oldman is absolutely amazing in the movie Tinker, Sailor, Soldier, Spy. Came out 2011, I think. 2011 was a really, really great year, and he didn't get the Oscar. He got, but he got it recently for another film. I think maybe in 2011 it was a French actor, Jean Dujardin, who got it for The Artist, also a great movie, and I'm happy that Jean Dujardin got it because he's a great guy. But Gary Oldman in that movie, Tinker, Sailor, Soldier, Spy, so like he's playing the role. Well, I mean, in the movie there is like a rat, a snitch. It's very important to know that, but you don't know who it is, and there is an aura of suspicion around him. But at the same time, he's also looking for who the snitch is. But he's so unbelievably good at conveying both doubt and reassurance. So check him out in that movie if you want to be impressed by his acting skills. US, number 4, Robert De Niro. I don't need to say anything else than, he is unbelievably good. He's an amazing actor. He's iconic. I guess some of my favorite performances of his are The Godfather Part 2 as the young Godfather, Vito Corleone, is that his name? I think that's that's a pretty amazing performance. I love him in The Deer Hunter. I think he's great in that movie. He's great in everything, really. Once Upon a Time in America, that's also him. He's also great in that was the movie called Brazil. He has a very the Terry Gilliam movie. Or Terry Gilliam movie Brazil. He has a small role, totally different from what he usually does, but he, in French we have an expression, to pierce the screen, when you're so charismatic and when you're so dazzling in your acting and your presence, that literally you pierce the screen and you kind of impose yourself on the audience. Sometimes these actors are dangerous for movies because they almost like accumulate too much attention, but I think he pierces the screen in Brazil, even though he's not the main character in that, and he's not in the movie for a long, long time. Number 4 among the non-US, and I think De Niro, I don't know what Gary Oldman's type is, I didn't check. I think De Niro is ISTJ, I have no idea if that's true or not, it's what I saw. Number 4 among the non-US actors is Mr. Ralph Fiennes. I mentioned him earlier when I talked about Coriolanus, but I didn't want to divulge that he was in my list, otherwise he would have killed the suspense. So Ralph Fiennes is a classic English actor. Check him out in The English Patient, in The Constant Gardener. You can also check him out in In Bruges, the movie with Colin Farrell, which is pretty hilarious. So classic British actor, just fantastic through and through, and INFJ. He's the first INFJ actor, I think, that is mentioned so far. But the next one is also an INFJ, and that's the 5th US actor that I want to mention, is Al Pacino. So you can see that I wrote De Niro for the list, and that it immediately was followed by Pacino, because you'd always connect like the two kind of Italian names, and they were both in The Godfather. So for Al Pacino, I would say in my case it's a little bit like DiCaprio. I think he is charismatic. I don't think he pierces the screen as much as someone like De Niro does, but he's really amazingly consistent. He's been good in absolutely everything. So his performance in The Godfather is great. In Dog Day Afternoon is great. He just, in Heat, he's fantastic. Like most films, maybe apart from the more recent years in which Al Pacino has been involved, have been amazing. It's a pretty safe choice, but anyway. Danish actor for number 5 in my non-US actors, close to my heart, one of my very, very, very favorite actors, is Mads Mikkelsen. So I don't know if you are familiar with Mads Mikkelsen. For those who watch primarily American films, well, I mean, that's not an American film necessarily because James Bond is not American, but in Casino Royale, if you remember the character of Le Chiffre when he plays poker and when he's sad, he has this kind of tear of blood that kind of drips from his eye. So that's Mads Mikkelsen. But I discovered him in a film in 2004 called King Arthur with Clive Owen in it. And Mads Mikkelsen plays like one of the, I think he plays Tristan of the, Knights of the Round Table, and you only see him for like, well, in total, you see him kind of throughout the movie, but you see him for little snippets. So maybe in total you see him for like 10-15 minutes, but he pierces the screen. Such a great expression, because that's exactly what it is. Like, I was kind of like, where is Clive Owen? Where is even Keira Knightley? No, like, all I could see was Mads Mikkelsen, and I've seen him in lots of great films. If there's one film that I really, really recommend you check him in, not only because it's an amazing film, but it's his best performance, and he got a prize in Cannes for it. It's called The Hunt. The Hunt, where he's a kindergarten teacher accused of having molested one of the children in a small provincial Danish town, and it explores the whole apparatus of paranoia, of social isolation, alienation, and a lot of other things that he suffers from, the psychological impact on it, on his family. And yeah, I mean, I have watched almost all his movies because I'm just a Mads Mikkelsen fan, same level as Joaquin Phoenix, but and he's ESFP. I checked, and apparently that's pretty agreed. Okay, back to the US list. So I selected as my number 6 US actor Christopher Walken. So I think Christopher Walken is great. Maybe my favorite movie in which he stars is The Deer Hunter, in which you also have Robert De Niro. So I think that if there's one film that you have not seen with Christopher Walken, it's that one. But he's a national treasure pretty much in America at this point, and I think he's ISFJ. Now, the non-US actors, number 6, another INFJ, and perhaps the last INFJ in this list, Daniel Day-Lewis. Kind of a safe choice. He is like the most, he has the best CV in the history of filmmaking for actors. He has 3 awards, 3 Oscars, Academy Awards for best actor in a leading role. So that's pretty amazing. It's funny because like in Ireland when I was there, I mean he's British, but I'd been told on a couple of occasions that like in my personality or physically, like I reminded them of Day-Lewis a little bit, and now I'm kind of wondering if that could be connected to the whole INFJ-ness. But if you check him in interviews, it's very clear he's an INFJ. He seems like a really lovely man, kind of a bit eccentric, but a lot of INFJs are. He lives in Ireland on like in an isolated farm at the moment, and I think he's retired from acting, at least for now. It's more like a hiatus. Often he goes on hiatuses. Now, There Will Be Blood is his most well-known performance, contemporary anyway. Unbelievably good film, in my top 10. He's amazing in that. By the way, Paul Dano, the other actor, is also an INFJ. He's great in the film, but you mostly see Day-Lewis because that's Day-Lewis. I mean, I think he's great in Lincoln as well. He got a prize for that. Everyone knows him also for My Left Foot, but if I have another recommendation for a film that you have to check out, if you have not seen it yet, in which he is unbelievably real, amazing, emotional, complex, you completely forget that he is an actor playing a character. He's the character. It's In the Name of the Father. Okay, so it's about an Irishman who associated with the IRA and who is sent to jail along with his dad and other people for a terrorist attack that he is innocent of. Okay, and it's also about his fight to get out of prison. Check it out. It's very emotional. You need to watch it if you haven't. Okay, nearly done now. So number 7 in my US list is Mr. Sean Penn, who I believe is an ENFP. At least that's what I've seen online. So what to say about Sean Penn? Like, he's a classic as well. I believe he got 2 Oscars for Best Actor. And I'm gonna suggest maybe two movies in which like he really struck me, and they're not necessarily the films that you expect, but they're the ones that like pop up in my mind. First one is The Tree of Life, because he doesn't have the main role in The Tree of Life by Terrence Malick, which I mentioned recently, but I think that in terms of his presence and how he plays, even in the short span of time in which he plays, he delivers something just exactly at the level at which I was expecting him, and I think it's fantastic. His presence, his acting, his intensity. And the other one in which he has a much more important role, again, very complex role that he performs with great mastery, is his role in Mystic River by Clint Eastwood. I'm assuming that most of you maybe have seen that one. If you haven't, check it out, and Sean Penn's performance is something to behold. Number 7 in my non-US list is Miss Emma Watson. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm putting her in there because I really, really love Emma Watson, even though I'm not even sure that she is like the greatest actress I've ever seen. I've seen her in a few films. Of course, I've seen her in the Harry Potter movies. I've seen her in some other films. I have no idea what her type is, but I can just say that, she's just a bit of a favorite of mine. I really like her. As you know, I also work in international relations, and she's an ambassador for UN Women. So she cares a lot, and she's sincere about her commitment to humanitarian and human rights causes. So maybe that's also part of the reason why I love her so much. Now, last US actress is Meryl Streep. No particular film that I love her in. All the movies in which I have seen Meryl Streep are they're not all great, actually. The Iron Lady, for instance, I didn't think was great, but she is great in that, so she deserved her Oscar. And she's super consistent, and I think she's one step above all the other actresses, in my opinion. I see her typed as an INTP. I'd be curious if you guys who might know her better in interviews and stuff, if she's American, because in Europe we don't see a lot of interviews or everyday Meryl Streep stuff, if that even is the case, because maybe she's quite private. In any case, it'd be kind of funny if she really was INTP. I just think she has such grace, such elegance, such versatility. I absolutely love Meryl Streep. Fun fact, the first time that I mentioned her name, like when I said I really, really liked her, was at least 7 years ago in Ireland to my friend, and I said I love Meryl Streep. And he just he burst out laughing, so maybe you will laugh as well. And then last of the last, number 8 among my non-US actresses, again, another actress, finally, a bit of, some females in there. We need more actresses. So that person is Charlotte Gainsbourg. Fantastic actress, and also really, really good musician. Check out her albums. She is the daughter of Serge Gainsbourg, who I believe is quite well known actually in the Anglophone world for his at least the Melody Nelson album, which got some really good rankings in the press. And yeah, Charlotte Gainsbourg is a great actress. She has been in a lot of Lars von Trier films. I mentioned Lars von Trier before. She is particularly stunning in Melancholia. So if you want to watch a great movie and a stunning performance by Gainsbourg, by this actress, in which Kirsten Dunst is also really good in that, and as well as many other actors and actresses. But Charlotte Gainsbourg, to me, is the star of the show. She's the one who should have gotten the Best Actress prize in Cannes. So I absolutely love Charlotte Gainsbourg. I think she's a fantastic actress. She is either INFP or INTP according to the internet sources. Again, I don't watch a lot of interview stuff, so maybe that would have helped me, but if you have any idea, I'd be quite curious, because again, she's one of my favorite actresses ever. So I'd be quite curious, to see. Maybe Meryl Streep and Charlotte Gainsbourg are both INTP actresses. That would be really cool. So yeah, this is my list. I hope that you find it inspiring. Let me know in the comments if you have recommendations for me. Maybe I'll be like, oh yeah, I absolutely love that actor or actress as well. I forgot about mentioning them. Thank you for reminding me. Or maybe I'll discover some thanks to you. So I really, really look forward to continuing the conversation in the comments. Long video. I hope you'll bear with me, and I hope that my content was helpful. Okay, have a great day, guys. See you very soon.